What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of my new show, The Good, The Bad, and The Awesome. This is a new monthly show that I'm going to do at the beginning of each month, talking about the previous month that we just got out of. Fuck you, January. And unlike most shows of this nature, I'm not just going to be talking about the best and worst movies. I'm just going to be talking about everything that happened in January. So even though January was a rough-ass month at the movies, we had some really good movies come out that were kind of carried over from last year. Patriots Day, which was one of the best movies that I've ever seen as far as taking a real-life tragedy and bringing it to the theater. It was a great experience, really with great performances, and nobody was really the star. It was all a collaborative effort. It was gripping. It was really tense, especially when you knew the bombs were going to go off. I mean, just Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg and everybody involved with that, hats off to you because that movie was phenomenal. Someone else that I'm going to give some acclaim to that I just got done talking about is Ben Affleck for Live by Night, because this movie to me was getting really unfairly treated as far as the critical and the audience scores. I feel like people walked into a movie they didn't realize they were walking into. They wanted to walk into like the town in the Prohibition era, but they're walking into a classic callback to like the old school cinema. It's a lot more of a dramatic, dialogue heavy movie than an action movie. I loved every minute of it. It wasn't his best. It was actually probably his worst movie, but his other movies are so fucking amazing that saying it's his worst when it's really just a little bit lower than that isn't that much of an insult. So Live by Night to me was another highlight of January. And something coming out of the music side of things is Halestorm released their third covers EP titled Reanimate 3.0. If you're unfamiliar with Halestorm, get familiar with Halestorm because they are a kick-ass band. They are one of the best heavy metal, hard rock groups that have come out the past couple of years. They have this style to them that is new, and yet you can tell they are raised on older heavy metal music like AC/DC, Metallica, Black Sabbath, everything like that. You can feel those influences in their music. Lizzie Hale is one of the greatest vocalists that is out right now. That chick is on fire, and this little EP is absolutely worth your money. I think it's 6 or 7 songs. And they are one of those bands that just does great covers because no matter what they do, mostly because they have a female singer, if they do a Whitesnake cover or a Metallica cover like they are in this album, it's automatically going to sound different. But even the songs that she chooses that was once a female singer, she just totally takes it to a new level, and they do it with every song on this EP. They do a Metallica song, Whitesnake, like I've already mentioned. If you like hard rock and heavy metal, or if you're a fan of Halestorm, absolutely go out and check that out because that was a kick-ass little EP, very cheap. You can even go and download it. Worth your money, I promise you. Well, as far as movies, damn, January, you were a rough-ass month to get through. And the worst of the worst, as far as my movie experiences in January, hands down, undisputed, goes to The Bye-Bye Man. If you've seen my review, you probably understood that I didn't care for this movie very much. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's one of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. It's one of the most inept and just insulting 90 minutes I've ever been through. And yet this movie made money hand over fist as far as the budget. It had like $5 million budget. The first weekend it came out, it made $14 million. I think it's sitting somewhere around $20 million right now. So that sucks. I hope we don't get a sequel. I hope movies like this stop getting made. The only way to stop them is to stop seeing them. So to hell with you, The Bye-Bye Man, and to hell with anybody that made that movie. As far as something else that happened in January that totally sucked, Ben Affleck announced that he is no longer directing The Batman. I've talked about this ad nauseum. Everybody's talked about it ad nauseum. I'm kind of tired of talking about it, but at the same time, there's so much to talk about with this because it's such a huge, gigantic red flag and signal flare at how screwed the DCEU is going to be if this guy leaves. There's already rumors he might be leaving Batman altogether. There's so many just conflicting reports. I mean, the dude is a conflicting report just at himself talking about the Batman movie because I'm talking about it like I'm going to be directing it. I'm not directing it. The script's great. The script sucks. I'm writing the script, but the script's not up to par. Now you got Chris Terrio supposedly turning in a draft of the Batman. I mean, DC is just a gigantic fucking mess, and this is the worst thing that all of us DC fans were hoping was not going to happen, is Ben Affleck leaving as director. So fingers crossed that they get somebody kick-ass to direct this alongside, maybe collaborating with Ben Affleck, and really pray to God he does not leave the role entirely. So fingers crossed, although I think all of us are just grasping at straws for something to be optimistic about right now. But the highlight of January for me, the thing that I'm talking about as far as the awesome of January, is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. My review is going to be up shortly after this video. I just filmed it. That game, without spoiling my review, is the best Resident Evil game since the original trilogy. It's a great callback to the original games while bringing in this new first-person element. If you got to play it in PlayStation VR, I feel sorry for you because you were probably as scared shitless as me, but that was just a totally new level of survival horror ambience. That game is just phenomenal. It was the best thing to come out of January. Go pick it up if you are a fan, or if you're new to the Resident Evil franchise, just strap in because you're going to be in for something crazy. Well, that does it for the first episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Awesome, people. I hope you liked the new show. Let me know down below if you liked it, didn't like it, what do you think needs to change, or if you enjoyed the hell out of it. Talk about some of the things I was talking about in either the bad, the good, or the awesome. Let's get a conversation going. Let's talk about this stuff. I promise you, I will respond. Please like and share this video and hit that subscribe button. That way you get to come back and see me next time. But if that's not soon enough to check out some more of my videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.